Hey everyone. You know those times when you just gotta laugh at the news? Like, it's so crazy, what else can you do?
It can be a lot sometimes.
It really can. And sometimes real life is just straight up funnier than any made-up story.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, get ready, because today's deep dive is all about one of those times. We're talking about that wild meeting Trump and Zelensky back in February, and of course, Saturday Night Live just pounced on it.
SNL never misses a beat, do they?
Nope. It's like they have a sixth sense for these things.
And they're masters at taking these complex, sometimes super serious situations and turning them into comedy gold.
Seriously, it's an art form. But first, let's set the scene, right? March 2025, Trump is back in the Oval Office. J.D. Vance is his VP.
Feel like we're living in a sequel, doesn't it?
Kind of, yeah. And as if things weren't already wild enough, we had this meeting on February 28th. Trump hosts Zelensky at the White House. The supposed topic is aid for the war with Russia.
Diplomacy, right.
You'd think. But instead, we get, well, chaos. Reports say the meeting basically imploded into a full-on shouting match.
Things got heated.
Heated is an understatement. Trump's throwing out lines like, "You're not in a good position, you don't have the cards right now with us." Like, what even is that?
Sounds more like a bad poker game than international diplomacy.
Right. And it's like he's totally oblivious to the gravity of the situation. Zelensky's leading a country fighting for survival, and Trump's acting like it's some kind of business deal.
It's a complete disconnect from reality, and it's honestly a little disturbing to see that lack of empathy.
Totally. And then, as if things couldn't get more bizarre, J.D. Vance jumps in.
Oh, Vance, this should be good.
He actually has the audacity to demand to know if Zelensky's even said thank you for the U.S. aid.
The audacity. Zelensky's country is literally under attack, and he's worried about manners.
Seriously, it's mind-boggling. And the thing is, reports say Zelensky did express gratitude multiple times.
Doesn't matter. For some, it seems like Ukraine should be eternally grateful no matter what. It really shows you the mindset of this administration.
You're right, it speaks volumes. The whole thing is so tone-deaf, it's painful.
Absolutely. This situation deserves nuance, a recognition of the complexity, and we're just not seeing that.
Okay, so just when you think it can't possibly get any more awkward, Trump goes and makes a comment about Zelensky's outfit.
Oh no, what did he say?
He basically says, Zelensky's dressed like casual Star Trek. Can you even imagine?
Oh, wow. Classic Trump deflection tactic. Can't address the real issues. Focus on something superficial. Avoid, avoid, avoid.
It's unbelievable, right? But here's the thing. That little detail, as silly as it sounds, it becomes this unexpected goldmine for SNL. Because the very next day, March 1st, they air their cold open. And it's a satirical masterpiece based on this whole train wreck of a meeting.
Okay, I am ready to laugh. Tell me everything.
It starts with this voiceover, totally dry delivery. Yesterday, President Trump hosted Ukrainian President Zelensky at the White House, and it went really, really well. Everyone who watched felt at ease and thought the world is now a safer place. I mean, come on.
The dripping sarcasm, I love it.
Right, they don't even try to hide it.
And that sets the stage perfectly. The audience knows exactly what they're in for.
Exactly. And then, bam, we're in the Oval Office. James Austin Johnson is Trump, Bowen Yang is J.D. Vance, and Mikey Day plays Zelensky. And let me tell you, the impersonations are just chef's kiss.
Oh, they're good. I've seen clips online.
Oh, they're beyond good. They nail the personalities, the mannerisms, the whole dynamic. Johnson's Trump especially, he comes out swinging with this line. "It is I, President and CEO of Gaza Hotel and Casino, Donald Trump, and I'd like to welcome President Zelensky here to this incredible trap. It's going to be a big, beautiful trap, and we're going to attack him very soon for no reason, right?"
Gaza Hotel and Casino. Wait, what?
I know. It's ridiculous, and yet so believable.
So, Trump. It plays on his obsession with branding and, of course, his tendency to put personal gain above, well, anything else.
It's like they took the most absurd Trumpian idea and cranked it up to 11. And then he turns to Zelensky and delivers this gem. "I'd like to thank President Zelensky for dressing like casual Star Trek. We love Star Trek because there's no DEI.
Yeah.
The white guy was the leader, and he bossed around Spock, who I believe was Guatemalan."
Okay, that's hilarious, but also kind of terrifying.
I know, right? It's that perfect blend of funny and scary that SNL does so well.
It's a glimpse into Trump's worldview, and it's not a pretty sight.
And through all this, Mikey Day as Zelensky barely gets a word in edgewise.
Which honestly mirrors the power dynamics of the actual meeting. Zelenskyy representing a nation in crisis reduced to a side character in Trump's show.
Exactly. It's not even subtle.
And then there's Bowen Yang as J.D. Vance. Oh, man, he is something else. This hyper-aggressive, attention-seeking performance.
Like an overeager puppy trying to impress its owner.
Yes. Constantly interrupting, parroting Trump's every word. It's hilarious, but also kind of unsettling.
Yeah, there's something definitely off about it.
It's like a caricature, but grounded in reality. SNL took Vance's real-life sycophantic loyalty to Trump and dialed it up.
It's a commentary on the dangers of blind loyalty and the erosion of critical thinking, for sure.
Big time. But you know what? Just when you think the sketch can't get any crazier, in walks Mike Myers.
Wait, Mike Myers.
As
in
in Wayne's World, Austin Powers, Mike Myers.
I'm Way.
Way. And he's playing Elon Musk, chainsaw buzzing, wearing a t-shirt and jeans.
You're kidding. This is all too much. I can't wait to hear what happens next.
It's like they knew exactly what they were doing, throwing Mike Myers into the mix.
Right. I mean, talk about a curveball.
A total curveball. And it works perfectly.
And the timing, right after Trump criticizes Zelenskyy's outfit, like, here comes Musk in the most casual look ever.
They're playing with us, the audience. The contrast is hilarious. You've got hyper-realistic Trump and Vance, and then bam, Mike Myers with the chainsaw.
So over the top. So good.
Exactly. And speaking of Mike Myers, it's not just a cameo, is it? This is a full-on SNL legend returning.
It felt like a huge deal, him being back after all these years and playing someone as powerful as Musk.
It definitely felt like a statement. Myers represents a whole era of SNL, back when the show was known for pushing boundaries.
Edgy, sometimes controversial, but always funny.
And now, it's 2025. Even more chaotic than the 90s, right? Bringing him back now, it just feels deliberate.
Like they knew his style would resonate with this moment.
Exactly. Think about it. Back in the day, Myers' characters like Wayne and Austin Powers, they were all about embracing the absurd.
The outlandish, the bigger-than-life personalities.
And somehow that's become our reality. Figures like Musk that dominate the headlines. It's like we're living in a Mike Myers movie, but it's not a comedy anymore.
It's real life. It's kind of scary, actually.
It is, and I think SNL gets that. They're bringing back someone who embodies that absurdity. Someone who can make us laugh at the stuff that freaks us out a little.
Like a pressure valve, right? We need that release.
We do. So Myers bursts into the Oval Office, chainsaw buzzing, and shouts, "Donald, what are you doing in my office? You know I'm the president now, right?" I'm kidding, maybe not.
Oh my God.
See, hilarious, but also makes you think, right?
Definitely. It's like they're playing with those rumors about Musk controlling the government, pulling the strings.
Like, is he the real power behind Trump? Who knows? But they're putting it out there, making us question.
And then Myers, as Musk, starts yelling, "Legalize comedy! Legalize comedy!" What's that about?
I think it's deeper than it seems. He's breaking that fourth wall, acknowledging the absurdity of everything.
Like he's pleading with us to find the humor in all this craziness.
Exactly. We need to be able to laugh at this stuff, otherwise we'll all go nuts.
Okay, I'm following you.
And then the sketch goes on to introduce Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. They even call it DOGE, like the cryptocurrency. Classic Musk.
Of course they did.
The whole idea is streamlining government, making it more efficient, but the sketch implies that comes at a cost.
Like efficiency above all else. That could be dangerous.
Exactly. Musk starts proposing these insane policies, firing all non-essential employees, including, get this, air traffic controllers.
Wait, that's insane.
I know, right? And Trump, of course, is totally on board. He says something like, sure, some of the planes are going to land upside down, but then the luggage falls right into your lap and you're ready to go. It's dark humor, but it makes a point.
Like, be careful what you wish for. Efficient government sounds good, but it could backfire spectacularly.
That's the takeaway. And then they push it even further. They introduce the Department of Undoing Child Health Care and Education.
Seriously?
Seriously. And they call it Do-See.
Oh my God, SNL is ruthless.
Right. Hilarious acronym, but it's not funny what it represents. Cutting essential services in the name of efficiency.
That's the gut punch. You're laughing, but then you realize, whoa, this has real-world implications.
And coming from Mike Myers, it hits even harder. Because he has that controversial past, remember?
Oh, right. He got fired from SNL years ago for those offensive remarks.
Exactly. So now he's back, playing this powerful figure, proposing potentially harmful policies. It makes you think about redemption. Second chances.
It adds a whole other layer to the sketch, for sure.
Layers on layers. But before we go down that rabbit hole, Let's go back to something you mentioned earlier. Mike Myers representing a specific era of SNL.
Right, right. This episode aired in March 2025. That's 50 years after SNL premiered.
50 years! That's incredible. Think about all the changes, culture, technology, politics, and through it all, SNL has stayed relevant. How do they do that?
It's wild, right?
I think it's a few things. They're adaptable, constantly evolving their humor, their cast, their approach to satire, always reflecting the times.
They're not afraid to experiment, to push boundaries.
Exactly. They're also in tune with American culture. They tap into our collective anxieties, our hopes, what we're obsessed with.
They make us laugh at ourselves, even when it's uncomfortable.
And let's not forget, live comedy is special. That spontaneity, that energy, you can't replicate that.
It's like watching a high wire act.
Yeah.
You're on the edge of your seat. Anything could happen.
And in a world where everything's so mediated, so filtered, I think people crave that rawness.
Makes sense. And SNL's satire, it's so effective because it's not polished, it's messy, it's in your face.
It makes you think, makes you question. And in this age of echo chambers and social media bubbles, SNL provides a shared experience.
A moment where we can all come together and laugh at the absurdity of it all.
Exactly. And that's why this Mike Myers sketch was pure genius.
Yeah.
So outlandish, so unexpected. It was guaranteed to go viral.
People were talking about it everywhere. They cut through the noise, created a water cooler moment for the digital age.
Precisely. They tapped into something universal. Anxieties about technology, about power, about the future. Stuff everyone's feeling, regardless of politics.
So it's not just about the content, it's about how it spreads, how it gets people talking.
And that's the key to staying relevant.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. SNL's staying power, Mike Myers, the brilliance of this sketch. But we haven't talked about Shane Gillis yet.
Oh, right. We can't ignore that. Gillis hosting this episode, it adds a whole other layer of complexity.
This is his second time hosting, remember?
Yeah.
The first time, back in 2019, well, things didn't go so well.
To put it mildly, fired before he even started because of those offensive remarks.
And now here he is, back on the SNL stage in 2025. Talk about a comeback story.
It's definitely a comeback story, and it makes you think about cancel culture, about redemption, about second chances.
It really does make you think, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah.
where do we draw the line?
It's tough, right? Because cancel culture has become such a loaded term, sometimes used to just shut down any conversation about accountability.
Yeah, you said it. But Gills' situation, it reminds us that it's not always so simple. People can grow, they can learn.
Absolutely. People can change. And I think SNL giving Gillis a second chance, that's acknowledging that gray area. Like, hey, he messed up, but he's also talented. We believe in second chances.
It's a big statement for them to make.
It is. And it goes beyond just Gillis, right? It speaks to this broader cultural shift. We're more aware of the nuances of identity, of representation.
Things have definitely changed since 2019. Back then, it felt like any offensive remark, instant career death.
It was a different time, but now in 2025, there's more understanding of how humor works, how it can be used to challenge norms, but also how it can be harmful.
We're finally having those tough conversations about comedy. Who gets to make jokes and who's the target?
Exactly. And SNL, by bringing Gillis back, they're stepping right into that conversation. They're not shying away from it.
It's definitely a bold move.
It is. They're using it as a chance to spark dialogue, to make us question our assumptions.
I can see that. But I'm sure some people are going to say SNL's normalizing Gillis's behavior, that they're saying offensive humor is okay as long as you're talented.
Yeah, that's a valid point. And honestly, there are going to be different opinions on this. Some will never forgive Gillis, and that's okay. Others see this as progress, a more forgiving society.
It's a tough one, for sure. Wherever you stand on Gillis, you got to admit, his presence adds another layer to this whole sketch. We've got Trump, Zelenskyy, Musk, and now Gillis.
Talk about a recipe for chaos.
Right. It's like a snapshot of our world right now. Trump, larger than life, that American bravado. Zelenskyy, fighting for his nation's survival. Musk, reshaping the world with tech. And Gillis, trying to find his place after messing up.
It's like SNL's holding up this mirror to society. All the messy contradictions, the uncomfortable realities, they're not giving answers, just presenting it all and letting us grapple with it.
That's the power of good satire, right?
Yeah.
Makes you laugh, but also makes you think.
It punches up, challenges the status quo, and sometimes it makes us squirm a little, forces us to confront our own biases.
Well said. So, here we are, end our deep dive. SNL, Trump, Musk, and this whole crazy cultural moment. It leaves you with a lot to think about, doesn't it?
It does. When the lines blur between reality and satire, where the absurd becomes normal, how do we even make sense of it all? Where do we find meaning in all this?
Yeah, how do we It feels overwhelming sometimes.
It does, but maybe that's the point. The journey itself, the questions, they matter more than easy answers. Maybe it's about staying curious, keeping that sense of humor, even when things are tough.
Finding the light in the darkness.
Exactly. Embracing the absurdity, finding ways to connect with each other. Maybe that's how we make the world a little better.
Couldn't agree more. Well, folks, that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, stay curious, keep laughing, and let's all try to make a little sense of this crazy world together.